If you're going to be eternal beings, just like the angels, right? But a little more, you're not going to be forced to do good. You're not. Think about that. No one's going to force you to choose the right thing. No one. The angels, right, are not being forced to do anything. Let that sink in. They're not. That loyalty they have, that devotion they have, is their choice. Think about that. How in the world can an eternal being, because we know Satan fell, we know the fallen angels, they fell, right? What happened to them? Why did they fall? Why? There was no difference between them and the other angels. So why did they fall? How could Lucifer ever think when is in his own essence to ascend his throne above the Father's throne? What is that? Those are characteristics that all beings have. All beings have them. So what makes the difference in your choice? Is it just your belief? I can tell you right now, there's a loyalty within all of us. And your loyalty is always being gauged. Those who become loyal to the Most High choose to walk in His love no matter what. Think about that. No matter what, they choose to walk in God's love, in God's truth, no matter what. Can we say that? Can we? Do we have a complaint within ourselves when we lose a person? Do we have a complaint when things are not turning out right? That's being tested. That's being tried. As that is tried within us, we gain experience. We begin to see the truth of our choices. That's very difficult for anyone to stage. Do you know that? For a person to truly see their choice and to truly see the circumstances around that choice, that's impossible. It's almost impossible for someone to stage. And finally, to get someone to operate in absolute truth. You do it anyway, believe it or not, but sometimes it's not so good. The devil operated in truth. He expressed what he really desired. Do you not know that you're being tried by what you really desire? Do you know that? You're being tried. Your choice is being tried, and it's being shown to you. When you have circumstances, when you have situations, you're faced with a lot of choices. Sometimes you can become emotionally overwhelmed. But where's your choice? The emotions rise to the top. Is it the same when you have no emotions about something? Do emotions cause you to choose against God? Does your issue cause you to doubt God? Think about it. What are you facing that causes you to choose against the Most High of the heart? Now, before you say, well, I choose God anyway, no matter what I feel, right? Then you're choosing outside the truth of you. And your physical choice does not express what you have actually chosen. Hate to tell you that. There can be two colors, right? Red and orange. Now, somebody said, Mike, our team likes red. So suppose I want to be on that team, but I choose red. Is that what I chose? No, it is not. What I choose is of the heart. If I like orange in my heart, but I choose red physically, is God looking at what I chose physically, or is he looking at what I chose from the heart? Which one? Which one is it? If I choose opposite of my heart, I have chosen with hypocrisy and deceit. I have deceived everybody. I want you guys to see that. Because the Father sees and hears the truth of us. And then he sees our action. Suppose you have someone in your family. You tell them to their face that you love them, that you would never do anything against them. But in your heart, you're trying to get them committed so that you can have a break. It's not a good situation, right? The truth is, deceit wins in that situation. So how is one to express themselves as children of the Most High? Everything you do and everything you say should align with your heart. It should be one thing, that is the truth, never two. See, that's a hard lesson I had to learn, because I'll tell you right now, I used to always express, or physically express, one thing, while I was totally different on the inside. There were times I would go along with things that I hated. There were times I would make a choice because I was intimidated. I didn't want it, but I chose it so that I would not be an outcast. But I was faced with situations where my choices caused such negative feedback, such hurt and pain, it broke me from doing that. When I choose something now, it's aligned with the heart, no matter what the consequences are. Doesn't matter what the consequences are. I will not operate that way anymore. Now that I've been aligned, right? I have no desire to do anything outside of what's in my heart. That's the way it works. Now, that would never happen if you don't go through things. If you're not challenged in that area, if you don't feel the confusion of hypocrisy, the weights of deceit, you'll still operate by flesh. You'll still practice and do those same things. When that gavel falls, when the hammer falls, when you begin to feel the pain and the discomfort, right, of a misalignment, and then you say to yourself, this is not good to do, then you just learned the truth. You just learned the truth. Because I'll tell you something, everything done in hypocrisy has a consequence. It has, and there's no escape from that consequence. The Lord allows this so that we're pure. That's why. It's like, how many times have you gone to church but you did not feel like it? You know how people teach, well, if you feel like it or not, you should go to church. I don't accept that. If it's not in your heart, you're just taking up space. All you're doing is inserting yourself in something by way of routine. And it's highly deceitful. How can somebody go to the house of God with a cloak of deceit over and over again?
Target destroyed.
That's why it's so good to force someone to do anything good. No, you encourage the good. Once you begin to see, once you're no longer operating in hypocrisy, you start seeing things differently. Number one, well, there is no life, there is no death you contemplate. Do you know that? You're not moved by death. You're not moved by falsehoods. You're not moved by intimidation. You're not moved by desires of grandeur. Satan was moved by a desire of grandeur. He really believed within himself that he deserved more based on how he looked. He perceived himself. He saw himself in a mirror, so to speak. And he said, wow, I am worthy of so much more. When he saw himself, he elevated himself, and in his heart, a wretched thing developed. Then he acted on that.
Target destroyed.
A mirror
Shields hit.
is just vain. We know that. And it can cause a person to do vain things. Why? When you look in a mirror, it makes you adjust things so that you
Shield down.
can look, appear, so that you can alter what other people perceive. Thus starts great deceits. But if you know that, your heart's aligned, you do not use a mirror to fool everybody else. How many times have we gotten in front of a mirror and we said, wow, I can't let people see me like this?
Destroyed.
Something so simple. But that's also extremely contaminating. Do you know that? That is not something good. That's almost highly deceitful, isn't it? So what do? We put on our costumes for everybody else. Is that genuine? No, it's not. And so we walk around, and by way of appearance, we convey a type personality. We demand that we be seen based on that appearance. That's the way the world is. Now your father, he already sees the hypocrisy in that, the vanity in that, so what does he do? He will often ruin that image. He'll often do that. He'll often do that to get you not so you go outside with your hair sticking up on one side, no. But so that you can understand that you're not alive to look better than everybody else. You're alive to affect change in somebody else. You're alive to choose darkness or light. You're alive to learn not to fall, right? How do you learn not to fall? By learning what love actually is, by learning what evil actually is. So we have to experience many things. How do we experience these things? Trials and tribulations, situations like those of today.